How do you handle a challenge that's bigger than your resources? When you're faced with a need that far outweighs what you have, what do you do? I'm Chris Moore, and this is Leading 10, where we connect biblical principles to everyday leadership challenges. Imagine this. A massive crowd has followed Jesus, 5,000 men, not counting women and children. They're hungry, tired, and far from any town. Jesus looks at his disciples and says, "You feed them." The disciples are stunned. Feed them? With what? We have nothing but a boy's lunch, 5 loaves and 2 fish. Jesus doesn't panic. He doesn't dismiss their lack. He takes what they have, blesses it, and starts breaking it. And it begins to multiply. What was once a small lunch becomes a feast that feeds thousands, with 12 baskets left over. John 6:9 says, "There is a lad here which hath 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes. But what are they among so many?" Jesus didn't perform this miracle alone. He involved the disciples. He had them organize the crowd. They distributed the food, and then they collected the leftovers. He didn't just provide, he empowered them to act. As leaders, it's easy to look at what we don't have. Not enough money, not enough staff, not enough time. But Jesus shows us that leadership isn't about having more. It's about using what we have effectively. Think about your team. What resources, skills, or talents have you overlooked? What small loaves and fishes are right in front of you that could be multiplied if you place them in God's hands? Think of a small business struggling to make payroll. They're down to their last dollars, their last reserves. The owner is tempted to lay off staff, to start cutting corners, and maybe they go into panic mode. But instead, he gathers the team and says, "We don't have much, but what we do have, let's list every asset, every skill, every contact we can leverage." Suddenly seems like a hopeless situation turns into an opportunity for creativity and collaboration. They find small ways to generate quick cash flow. Negotiate with some of their vendors. Maybe they create a flash sale just to bring in some quick revenue. That's the power of empowering others to act. Jesus didn't tell the disciples to sit back and watch him work. He involved them. Even when they didn't see how it could work out, he got them to take action. Notice what Jesus does before the miracle. He gives thanks. He thanks God for what seems like an inadequate supply, and it definitely was. That's a leadership principle in itself. Gratitude before the breakthrough. Doesn't sound reasonable, but it is truth. Imagine the disciples' reaction. They're holding 5 loaves and 2 small fish between 12 disciples, staring at 5,000 hungry people. And Jesus is standing there giving thanks. It must have seemed pretty ridiculous, but Jesus wasn't thanking God for what was in his hands. He was thanking God for what was about to happen. That's putting your faith into action. As leaders, we often wait until the outcome to express gratitude. We wait to the end. But what if we started thanking God before the breakthrough comes? At the beginning of the trial? What if we express confidence in the potential even when the supply seems very small? Today, you can identify one area where you feel like you don't have enough. It might be time, it might be money, it might be manpower. Take a moment to list what you do have. Then ask yourself, how can you involve your team in multiplying those resources, even if they're small? What small act of faith can you take today to turn a little into a lot? And think about yourself. What loaves and fishes are you holding on to that seem so insignificant? Are there small skills, small opportunities, small connections that you're overlooking because they seem too small to matter? Pray over them. Ask God to multiply them in ways that you cannot yet see, and there's a lot that we cannot yet see. Before the next devotional, gather your team for a 10-minute brainstorming session. Ask them, what are our 5 loaves and 2 fish? What small resources do we have that we need to maximize? And then listen carefully. You might be surprised at some of the creative ideas that surface. And for you, write down one area where you feel that maybe you're inadequate or lacking. Pray over it. Ask God to show you how to multiply what you have rather than focusing on what you lack. Build on your strengths that God has provided to you instead of concentrating so much on trying to fix your weakness. If today's devotion resonated with you, share it with someone who feels like they just don't have enough. And remember, leadership isn't about having more. It's about using what you already have more effectively. Thanks for joining me on Lead in 10. Until tomorrow, keep leading, keep trusting, keep multiplying. I'll see you then.